properly introduce our program. Tuesday, February the 7th, I believe it is, 2023. My name is Jonathan Jones, and it's a little after 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and it's my pleasure, my privilege to be your host and moderator for the evening. The statements that will be made this evening have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration, the FDA. They are the ones who regulate medicine and drugs. And so be aware that I'm making no claims that these products that you'll be hearing about are a treatment or cure for any disease state. In fact, be aware that what happens to one person may or may not happen to you. So testimonials are purely anecdotal. And because you don't know the clinical circumstances surrounding a person who may be taking some nutritional supplement for whatever reason that they may be taking them, you don't know what the clinical circumstances are surrounding that may have contributed to their getting the results that they got. But when you hear some of these stories, you decide whether you believe that these folks are what they're saying has the ring of truth. You can decide whether or not you think that it merits paying any attention to. So I like to leave it up to each individual to make a decision about what they believe sounds too good to be true and what doesn't. I'm not a medical doctor. Please don't do anything I say because I say it. The information I'm providing is for research, information, education, and entertainment purposes only. Don't do anything I say because I say it. I strongly recommend that you seek the competent medical advice of professionals that you trust. Okay, now we got that all out of the way. You're going to have some questions. Here are your questions at the end. I'm going to give you a brief presentation as to what's going on. This testimonial right here by Doris Kreider, she tells a story about her health and results that she feels she got from taking adding micronutrients to her diet. So let's listen to Doris Kreider, and then they'll give you a little presentation, explain to you scientifically what could be happening in a person's body when they add micronutrients to their diet. Okay.
I'm gonna be real short because I have a whole lot to say, and I had missed some of the meetings lately. But my issue, my main issue was bone-on-bone knee pain. And I had been taking injections and things, 2 different types. And they told me that, I had a they said I had a very, very bad situation. So it's more like they kept, like getting me ready for surgery. And I didn't want surgery. So anyway, once I found out about Engage, I'm sorry. And I kept thinking to myself, well, they give me injections and it's going right into my knee. So I'm trying to figure out how would the supplements work, or would they work? So after listening to different testimonies and people that had the same type of situation I have, I went on and, got the product and everything. And I've had this, I'm getting ready to order my third order now. But, I cannot be more thankful. I have been, I've been in a wheelchair, I've had walking stick, and couldn't take but, a little bit of a couple of steps, and, it'd just be so painful. I'm forgetting I got the walking stick and I'm leaving it in other parts of the house, and, because I try to keep it with me. But it's just so out. I can't explain how I feel. But now I just started where I could just really go and not being so much. I'm not in any pain at all now. I haven't been in any pain for about 3 weeks.
So no pain, and you're walking?
yeah, and I'm walking and no pain. And I'm saying, okay, so around Christmas time, I just can't wait to see how I will be, because I gained weight because I wasn't able to, like get around and stuff. So I'm getting more active, and I can stand up, because I couldn't even stand up to cook. I had to be in my chair to cook. It was like I could, if I stood up maybe about 2 or 3 minutes, I had to sit down.
Oh my.
And so the gentleman that spoke a little bit ago, that's what made me just go and say, because I have some more testimony, because there's other things that's happening in my body too that's improving. So, but I just wanted to say that, I think he said his mother was the one, but she is going to be so, so thankful, because it's so much you can't do when you can't walk, and they don't have, in the stores, they don't have nothing for a person that can't walk like that. So I haven't been to stores. I've been now, but I hadn't been to stores and going inside doing all that for over 3 years.
Wow.
I'm just thankful, and I
Wow.
just reach out to people. Today is the first thing I signed up with the marketing system about a month ago, but I hadn't done anything with it. Tonight is the first night that I sent out leads to people through the marketing system.
Wow.
I'm here, I'm here to win, not only for myself, but for other people. Because it's just terrible when people have.
All right, we're gonna stop Doris Kreider right there. And if you were listening to what she was describing, a little bit disjointed there, but basically this was a woman who, with passion, is describing her experience from transitioning from getting knee injections in her knees to manage the pain, to walking around and forgetting that she left her walking stick or her walker in another part of the house. She would, under normal circumstances, there's no way that she would separate herself from that walking stick. Plus, she said it was painful just to take 1 or 2 or 3 steps, excruciating pain, to completely forgetting that she had a need for a walking stick or any kind of assistance. And going back to the store now. She hadn't been to the store in 3 years, and now she's going back shopping again. So, once again, testimonials are purely anecdotal. What happens to one person may or may not happen to you. You have no idea. None of us knows what kind of clinical circumstances may have played a role in her getting an improvement. And only the FDA can declare anything to be a treatment or cure for a disease state. Okay, so we're not making any medical claims here at all. But I can tell you with 100% confidence that what Doris put in her body is the food that's been missing from our food. And that's the way that I'd like to describe it, because that's what it is scientifically. Something has happened in the name of science. Something happened to our food. You see, there was a time when you got everything that you needed nutrition-wise from your diet. So you could eat and expect that all the nutrients was in the food. In fact, your grandmother, your great-great-grandmother, back in, say, the early 1900s, her food was so nutritionally rich that today, to get what she got in 1 ear of corn, you'd have to eat at least 18 ears of corn today to get the nutrients that she got from 1 ear of corn back in the early 1900s. Something has happened. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. So again, we're not talking about any treatment or cure for disease, but we are talking about the food that's missing from our food. So let's see if we can't get this screen here to behave a little bit for us. I'd like to just show you a little bit through this brochure. And if you don't have access to this brochure, all you need to do is just get back with the person that invited you to this discussion and tell them that you would like to have that brochure, the brochure you're looking at on the screen right now. Nutrition, live to live your best life. Daily nutrition to live your best life. Because that's really all we're talking about. And I really want to try to make that clear. We're talking about daily nutrition. See, when scientists got a hold of something, get a hold of something, they want to improve it. They were trying to make it so that food was famine proof, drought proof, flood proof. So they kept doing things to the center of the United States, where most of the food was grown, to try to improve the chances of a positive or favorable outcome to all the crops, no matter what. One crop could be destroyed by pest. Another crop could be destroyed by some climate issue. So they figured, you know what? Here's what we need to do. Instead of depending on 100 acres of land, maybe we can make 10 acres of land yield the same amount as 100 acres of land. So we need less land to grow the same amount of crop. So they genetically re-engineered it so that you got more wheat from 10 acres of land, same amount that you would get, say, from 100 acres of land. So I'm just kind of ballparking. I'm just sort of ballparking things there for you just to illustrate the point. But they genetically re-engineered things to accomplish that. Then, so that you have less problem with pest, they would find something that would kill an insect, particularly some pests that would eat the crops. Then they genetically engineered that into the crop, so that now when the little critters would eat the crops, they're eating a pesticide. What happens is that the crop would punch little holes in the cell membrane inside the cells of the insects and would kill them from the inside out. That's how they get rid of the pest. Now, you may be saying to yourself, if it's punching holes in the cells inside the insect, how do you turn that off and stop it from punching holes inside my cells when I eat it? And you'd have a valid question. You have a right to ask that question. Let me know if you find the answer. They also decided that because weeds would grow in the crops, you have to send an army of migrant workers in there to try to weed the acres and acres and acres of land. And since they're no longer allowed to have slaves in this country, they'd have to pay for that. Now it gets kind of costly and unreliable, inconsistent. So they decided, okay, well, how can we kill the weeds? Oh, I know. We could use the same stuff that they use over in Vietnam called Agent Orange, but we'll dilute it and give it another name called glyphosate. And you could actually go buy that at Home Depot or Lowe's or wherever you buy your hardware things, home goods. They call it Roundup. But they would take an airplane and just fly over the field and they'd spray the glyphosate. The problem now is that how do you make the glyphosate kill only the weeds but not kill the corn? Well, they genetically modify the corn so that it's impervious to the glyphosate. Clever, huh? Kill all the weeds, but now you would have a right. If this question is coming to your mind, it's a good question, and maybe you are thinking this: is that if you're spraying all this glyphosate over the land, don't the roots of the plant absorb the nutrients from the ground? How does the plant know not to absorb the weed killer that's in the ground after they spray it all over the field? That would be another valid question. Valid question. Good one. And if you get the answer, please let me know. Right now, by the way, Monsanto went out of business. They're owned by Bayer now. they are facing billions and billions of dollars in lawsuits. Though they've admitted that they've done nothing wrong, but they're paying out billions of dollars in lawsuits because of their product causing cancer and hundreds of other diseases. Okay? So, back to our subject matter. While they were doing all that, some of the nutrition was taken out of the food. So we're not getting nearly the nutritional quality. There's been all kinds of scientific advancement, but something happened to the nutrition that was in the food. So we're basically, what has happened here is Dr. Prasad has figured out what's missing from our food and given it back to us. Now, he didn't do this on his own now. It started with the United States government. The United States government said, you know what? The soldiers on the battlefield, they need to have the best health possible. So they put the word out that they wanted a nutritional supplement that could help the soldiers on the battlefield be in optimum health while fighting and performing their military duties. So that's the way it started. It was originally formulated for the U.S. troops. This is what it looked like right here. It was called MMF, Military Micronutrient Formula. And you see that little pocket there on the side of those Army fatigues right here, this thing? That's where it would slide right in there. And then the soldier could take 2 in the morning, 2 later in the day, 2 in the morning, 2 later in the day. So that's the way it was designed. So he would have everything he would need for a week in one little packet there. Boom, slide it right in his little packet there, pocket. So that's what the original intention was. It was never intended. Keep this in mind. It was never intended for us. It was never intended for civilians. It was never intended for the U.S. population, the standard, the average person like you or me. And no vitamin company would produce anything of this magnitude because, see, the United States Congress, they ponied up some $12 million toward it. And private investors spent another $12 million. So there's total $24 million that's been invested behind the development of this product. And no vitamin company would spend that kind of money for a vitamin, a nutritional supplement, not for the purpose of making life better for anyone who's 55, 60 years or older. That would not be the target. In fact, if all of us sat down in the boardroom and we were part of a vitamin company, we'd all be fired if we brought up the idea, let's make life better, for seniors. Let's make a vitamin that puts the food back in food. We'd be fired because there's no profit in that. But Dr. Prasad was the only one out of all the vitamin companies and all the product formulators in the country. He's the only one that stepped up and said, I can do that. I can do that. And so this all started in 2001. Safety tests were completed by the year 2004. Human clinical trials were done by 2005. And then now it became approved for the general public in 2006, not general public, for human consumption. So that's when the military had it. And you may be saying to yourself, do they still use it now? And if not, why don't they? Good questions, good questions, good question. But no, they do not still use it now. And there's all kinds of thoughts behind what may have happened as to the reason why the military still does not use it. This conference is not for that purpose, so I'm not going to go down that road to discuss that. But is anybody familiar with the way that the United States government does things, where they'll invest millions and millions and millions of dollars in something and then just walk away from it? Like we saw in Afghanistan, they left billions of dollars worth of equipment. They built buildings over there and all kinds of things and just walked away from it. Even in this country, they'll spend millions and millions and millions of dollars on some software investment and then just scrap it because some bureaucrat felt like it's not a good idea. So that's a totally different subject, but that gives you an idea as to the level of efficiency that can be involved when it comes to making a decision. It's not necessarily because it's in the best interest of the general public. It's just someone made a decision. Someone with the authority made the decision. But we're very fortunate that this man right here is the common denominator between then and now. No matter who decided what, Dr. Prasad was there when the call went out, and Dr. Prasad is still here right now. Dr. Prasad never forgot one single thing that he did, and not one single day of his existence from then to right now. Dr. Prasad is fully aware. Significant for all of us because this man was a professor at the University of Colorado School of Medicine for 30 years. He was a professor, Prasad. And his focus was director of vitamin and cancer research. So you think that maybe his knowledge might have slipped into the product formulation? I believe so. Look at all the other things he did. The one that stands out to me the most, that is the most powerful, is the fact that he was invited to be a member of the Nobel Peace Prize nominating committee and the candidates for medicine. That means this man is significant. He has been referred to as the Einstein of our day. That's the level of brilliance that we have that's formulating products for us. That's what we have. Pure genius. He was the world's first radiation biology PhD. His products have been awarded 7 patents on micronutrients. And the list really goes on, but feast your eyes on this one right here. He's the guy that figured out of all the different types of vitamin E that exist, he's the one who figured out that it was vitamin E succinate that has anti-cancer properties to it. It will kill cancer cells. Dr. Prasad is the one that figured it out. And just have one guess as to which vitamin E he put in his formulas. Yeah, you better believe it. He put the one in there that's going to do some damage while it's in there. He's been published more than 250 times, and he's authored more than 32 books. I think he's working on another one even now as we speak. Yes, in fact, he's updating his book on diabetes. So he'll be publishing his 33rd book very, very soon. And he's at the young age of 88 years old. And he still puts in a good day's work, never stops. But this Dr. Prasad met David Nemelka. David Nemelka was the guy that had the money. They formed the company Engage Global, and that's where we have the product now called MicroDaily. MicroDaily is the world's most scientifically validated supplement. It is for real. When I first heard about this product, quite frankly, I didn't take it seriously, and I'm embarrassed at the level of ignorance that I had. But I will not wallow in that ignorance, nor in the self-pity that I was so stupid back in 2016. What we have here is not normal by any stroke of the imagination. I told you vitamin E succinate was likely in this product, and it is. There it is. It crosses the blood-brain barrier. It also has the amazing impact of activating NRF2. We're not going to get into a discussion about NRF2, but let me tell you something that's a big deal right there. That's a big deal. The other thing that it does is with these components right here, right, particularly this one, N-acetylcysteine, that raises glutathione levels in the body, glutathione. And glutathione is the body's master antioxidant. So you have all these endogenous antioxidants, that's antioxidants that your body makes, along with all these other exogenous antioxidants, the ones that you bring into your body from the outside, all working synergistically at the same time, and is bringing down inflammation and handling oxidative stress and eliminating free radicals. That is what changes your life. That is what causes your health to be different. That's what Doris Kreider was talking about at the beginning of our discussion. She didn't know it, but I'm here to tell you that's what was going on with Doris Kreider. Dr. Prasad's product, just in a whole different category by itself, is just in a whole different league. I'm not going to go into the details here. Like I said, you can get a copy of this brochure, and I highly recommend you get it and take your time. Take your time to read through it. This is not salesmanship in this brochure, this booklet. These are just facts, pure facts. This is the product here you wanted to target your attention to. The original formula of MicroDaily is outstanding, by the way. But since the original cell phone technology was first designed, the newest cell phones now is 700 times more powerful than the original. So there's so much more cell phone technology that's emitting high levels of radiation and EMF, harmful EMF, are all around us all the time now. So Dr. Prasad realized, remember, he was the world's first radiation biology PhD, the world's first. So he knows a little something about radiation. And if you don't, it doesn't take rocket science to know that radiation contributes to abnormal cells, and abnormal cells is a cancer cell. So Dr. Prasad realizes that we needed a greater amount of defense. So he added 4 more ingredients to the formula to give us increased protection against radiation. 4 additional products in there. So this is the best product, the best formula that we have is the microdaily EMF. That's the one you want to get. That's the one I take. I take 6 capsules twice a day. And when I'm not feeling well, I take 6 capsules 3 times a day. And I haven't been feeling well lately because we've been traveling. And, when your life is not normal, you're not stable, you're not sleeping right, and it's constant. It's a little bit challenging. So lately I've been taking 6 capsules 3 times a day. And it does keep me going. And that brain boost, oh boy, I can't say enough about this brain boost. So I take 2 of those in the morning, 2 in the evening, especially with, like I said, when I'm in run down like I am. And that just makes everything pop, So those 2 are on my list of most favorites. But this coming Sunday, we're going to be talking to Dr. Prasad about this CBD. So you want to make sure you get everybody here on CBD, because we want to know how CBD impacts health and nutrition. So that will be this coming Sunday at 5:00. We'll be having that discussion with Dr. Prasad. If you don't like taking capsules, the hydro is powder packet. You just put it in a bottle of water like this and shake it up, drink it down. And you're getting the same as 2 capsules of the original. So that's what you're getting in the hydro. The eye boost is also fantastic as well. And many folks are saying that their vision has improved dramatically when they add the eye boost to their protocol. But the last thing I want to tell you about before we start taking some of your questions is this illustration that you're seeing over here. These 2 pictures are pictures that come from two different bunnies. These are rabbits. So in the name of science, these 2 rabbits took a trip to the Johnson Space Center down in Houston, Texas. And I don't know what they told them to convince them to go. Maybe they told them they're going to see some rockets or some space science or whatever they told them. But the rabbits went, and they fed them really, really well. Dr. Prasad said that it just so happens that this particular facility was the only facility that had the kind of equipment that could produce the highest amount of radiation that they needed to do the test. I'm sure they didn't say that to the rabbits. So the rabbits did not know what was coming, but they were going to give it all up in the name of science. So, but they fed them very, very well. But this rabbit over here ate regular food, and this rabbit here ate the food, good food, but he also had the food that's missing from food. These are pictures of their lungs. I make no apologies for my handwriting, so don't even say anything. But these are pictures of their lungs. This one looks like healthy tissue. This one looks like he's been smoking many packs of cigarettes every day. Now, just think about this now. Think about it. Every single person here right now is walking around with one of these devices. We're all using these devices. And do you remember what we said a little earlier? That current cell phone technology is 700 times more powerful than the original. And the World Health Organization, by the way, now refers to these as probable carcinogens. They're in the same category as cigarettes. they cause cancer. So this kind of radiation is around us all the time. Which one of these rabbits do you want your insides to look like? Do you want it to look like it's been burnt and fried like you've been smoking, or would you like it to look fresh and healthy like the rabbit on the right? So we owe a debt of gratitude to those rabbits right there, because that test tells us something. There were other tests that were done too that show that this formula repairs damaged DNA caused by low dose ionized radiation. So we have those tests were done, and it's been proven that your DNA is repaired by this formula. That's a big deal. And those are just some of the studies that were done that Dr. Prasad remembers. The government never released those studies, by the way. So I've never been able to get copies of them, but Dr. Prasad was there. So he was the scientist that led the research team. We do not have copies of those, but we know what he's told us about each one of those studies that he himself did. We also have something else. I went out and I located every single one of these patents on this list. I have every single one of them. I found all of them because I wanted to see where they were. There's a typo on one of these, but anyway, I went and found every single patent out there. My favorite is this one right here, number 7605145. And it's a patent with the words, look at it carefully, because we're not allowed to claim anything to be a treatment or cure for disease. But we can tell you that the patent has the title, micronutrient formulation for treatment of diabetes mellitus. We can say that. We can legally say that that patent exists. Number 7605145, that patent exists. I found it independent of Engage Global. I went out and searched for it myself, and I found it on the internet. So that patent does exist. It was granted for the product MMF. MMF was the original formula behind MicroDaily. Okay? Wrap your mind around those things. Two things there, folks. Wrap your mind around that. That's a big deal. These are some of the books that Dr. Prasad has written. And you see cancer all over the place. And you also see, again, my favorite topic, diabetes. Do you know how much diabetes there is in this country? There's 37 million people who have diabetes and 96 million people who are heading in that direction. So diabetes is a big problem. We just had a discussion about that 2 weeks ago with Dr. Prasad. And the discussion was on diabesity. Diabesity. So you can find the recording of that on my YouTube channel if you'd like to go back and revisit that. So that's youtubejonathan.com. We'll take you there. Just click on live, and you can find a recording of all copies of all the recordings that were originally live streamed with Dr. Prasad and those that I did on my own. This past Sunday's meeting was mind-boggling. It was mind-boggling. This man covered cancer in a way that it took my level of understanding to a whole different level. And so you want to make sure that if you did not catch this past Sunday, go to my channel and get that recording. And if you want to learn something about diabetes, also just find all the ones on my channel for diabetes, and you'll find it to be quite amazing. Okay, so let's take a minute or two now and take some of your questions. I know we have just a few minutes left, and I want to answer any questions that you might have about the product, about something that you're confused about. If you want the product, by the way, you just get back with the person who invited you, and they can tell you how to get it. My recommendation is get it on subscription. That's the cheapest way to get it. Just have something coming in every month. And Barbara, we were talking a little bit earlier today that it was not made clear to her, the recommendation to stay ahead of it. So on your first order or two, make sure you add in an extra bottle or two so that you have a buffer, build a buffer in. I've been telling this to all of my people for the past 6 months or so, build a buffer, because you never know when the post office goes a little bit slow or something happens and there's a supply chain issue. Build a buffer and take that seriously. Yeah, take it seriously. Build a buffer. Make sure you have extra. You do not want to run out, because it's a painful reality when you don't have it. Once you get used to it, especially. So Cheryl Slaughter, you have a question or comment, please?
Yes. Jonathan, do you have any testimonies concerning lupus or MS with the product?
Yes, we do. I don't remember exactly which one is on lupus, but we have had women. We've had individuals that had outstanding results with lupus. I can tell you scientifically how things work when it comes to lupus. Lupus is an imbalance in T cells and B cells. The person's B cells is really, really high. Their B cells in their body, it's part of their immune system is messed up. So what doctors will do is prescribe immunosuppressant drugs to bring the B cells down. They try to kill the immune system to bring it back down. But the best way to really resolve that is if you raise the T cells in the body, the T cells will automatically bring the B cells down by itself. It automatically balances it out. Microdaily raises T cells, selectively modulates the immune system. It raises the T cells. So as a person is taking more and more microdaily, their T cells are going up, and the B cells will just balance itself right back out. So it's very good for a person that may have lupus.
Okay, so you're saying the basic 3 tablets twice a day and the probiotic?
Well, probiotic, absolutely. No question about that. Make sure that they're taking plenty of the probiotic. But when it comes to dosage, I believe that a person who is taking the dose for a healthy 20-year-old is not going to get the results that they're looking for. See, what's on the bottle is the dose that a person would take prophylactically. That's like a maintenance dose.
Okay.
So taking 3 capsules twice a day of microdaily EMF, that's what a healthy 20 or 30-year-old person would take. So if you are, say, a little older, if the person is a little bit older and they've got lupus, and maybe something else, I think they need a little bit more than what a healthy 20-year-old would take. So I recommend when there's a chronic problem, add a dose. If there's multiple chronic problems, you might want to go 2x, double it.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's a serious problem, triple it and add a dose. So that's my recommendations when it comes to taking the product. But don't get me wrong now. I'm not saying that they have to do that. If the person can only afford to take the standard dose, it's better than nothing.
Okay.
It's
I got
better.
another question, but I'll wait for somebody else to answer and then I'll come back if you have time.
Okay. And I have no health problems, but I told you what I take. I'm over 60. That's called, unfortunately, that's a health problem. Once you're over 50, that's aging. So that's a chronic problem.
Oh, it's making me sad.
Once you hit 60, whoo. So I take.
What you say for me at being 74? What?
Okay, I'm not talking about it. All I'm saying is I take double, and taking 6 in the morning, 6 in the evening. That for me is a break even. And whenever I try to cheat, my right toe is my indicator light that I didn't do right. So my right toe will tell it all. So anybody see me limping around, I might be faking it, think that I'm trying to walk like I'm cool and everything, but you know I didn't take the right amount of microdata if you see me limping, okay? So that's my story. Barbara Green, we'll take your question or comment, please.
Yes, I have some testimony, some things that I want to say that I have been dealing with. And I was on the microdaily ESP for 1 month, and
EMF?
I saw tremendous. I even was just taking 2 in the morning and 2 at night. And I was telling you some problems that I was having. You said increase it. And when I increased it, it eliminated the other issues. I just want to give you an idea of some of the things that I was suffering with. Number 1, my balance. I would fall. They gave me an MRI. It was nothing wrong with my brain, nothing wrong with my ears. It was the fact my brain wasn't getting a connection to what it was supposed to do. So when I got on the EMS, I immediately stopped balancing. I started balancing. I was also going to physical therapy. That helped, but it didn't help like it, did until I got on the EMS. As well as I was tired. I didn't feel like doing nothing. I had pain constantly in my knee, my left knee. I had surgery. I had a knee replacement, and that didn't do me any good. Matter of fact, the chief doctor at Oxford said that I shouldn't have had the surgery because it was my back. I suffer with severe inflammation that automatically almost just lessened after 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks on the micronutrients. Then my brain, I couldn't remember nothing. I was forgetting. I have not been on it since January because I started in December the 27th. My orders still haven't came in yet. So I'm a testimony. Please get an extra bottle if you can, because if you run out, your body gonna tell you you need your micro daily. And my pain came back, my mucus came back, and it's all from not being consistent with the and even my appetite. I was telling you that I was losing weight, but then I started desiring sweets. You told me to get on the fatty meats, which is salmon,
Okay.
and I did it. My appetite went back. My weight, I'm at a what you call it, a standstill. But I'm sure when I get back my micro daily in my system, I'm going to be back on track. I'm serious. I could not live without it from what I've seen thus far. Another thing, I have eye problems really bad. I've had the cataract surgery, and I can't wait to get on the the CBD, not the CBD, the ones for the eye.
Yeah,
And
the eye
then we're not
boost.
going to leave the CBD out because I'm depression. Anyway, we ain't going to even go there. Anxiety, all of the above. So I am really a living testimony that these micronutrients work, and in a
Wow.
short span of time for my body.
That's quite impressive and amazing. So sorry that you're having the issues, but I tell anybody who thinks that it's not working for them, stop taking it, and you'll know. That's all you got to do. Stop taking it, and then just you'll know my phone number then. So many people will do that. So thank you very much, Barbara, for sharing your story, and thank you for reconnecting me with with our situation. Because as soon as you mentioned that thing about your appetite and cravings and the fat, yeah, okay. Well, we'll have another discussion about that, by the way. So,
And I also got that African mango. What was it? African
yes,
something you
African
told me?
mango.
Yeah, I also purchased that, and that also helped. And I told my daughter about it. She said, "Mama, that really works." So that helped out too.
Yep, cuts the cravings. Very good, excellent. Thank you, Horace and Bev.
Yeah, how you doing, Jonathan?
Very good.
Good. As I was listening to these testimonies, I was just thinking, when I first started these products about going on 5 months now, all of the things that were wrong with me that I didn't even know about, I sit here and wrote them down, and I got a small list. When I started taking the products, my equilibrium was off. I had hemorrhoidal problems. My knees, I had lymphedema, and my eyesight was poor. Then I had the restless leg syndrome at night. I'd be laying there trying to sleep, or my legs started feeling funny and itchy, and they would start to move, and I'd get up and move around a little bit, and then I had cramps at night. Well, after taking the micro daily for the first week, the lymphedema sort of subsided. It went down. Another 3 or 4 days, the coloring came back to my legs and ankles. I don't have the clogged up system down there anymore because they don't swell up anymore, Jonathan.
Yep.
Because I was sitting here thinking about that. I'm saying all of these things, I only took the products for my knees, but all of these other things cleared up. And as she said, I used to stumble a lot. I walked around like a drunk man. And I said, wow, why am I stumbling? So I almost had to learn to walk all over again. But once I started taking these products, we ran out because then she started taking them too. And let me tell you one thing, we were out for about 5 to 6 days or almost a week. And all that pain just came back with a vengeance. Everything started to happen because I'm saying, oh my goodness. And I said, from this point on, hon, we will never run out of product again. Those products are awesome.
That's it. Thank you very much for sharing your story, Horace and Bev.
I have something to add, Jonathan.
Oh yeah, let's hear the the footnote.
Well, my husband snored profusely,
Uh-huh.
and it was very, very difficult to stay asleep if you go to sleep before him. It was bad. It was really bad. And I noticed after we started taking the micro daily, he's not snoring anymore.
Woo-woo.
That was one thing that I found out, and I said, hon, you're not snoring like you used to. And it used to scare me because he'd be, gasping for air. Nothing would come out, and then this big growl like a bear. Oh my, and it scared me. But that is one significant thing. I mean, my situation is I had the back problem from the accident, my eyes and everything. Change glasses every 6 months. Right now, I'm having problems with these. They don't work anymore because I take the eye boost. And it's just, I have to go back to get them to do something else with the glasses, or do I need it even? I can see fine without them. So
That's amazing.
A lot of good things have happened to us. So when we talk to people, we have our own personal testimony. Our own personal testimony. We don't have to show them videos. We can just tell them all the things that are happening with us.
Yep. And it's not smoke and mirrors.
That's for sure.
Right.
Wow. That's amazing. That is amazing. Thank you very much for adding that footnote. We needed we needed that additional clarity there. That's good to hear. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah.
All right, we got time for a couple more. Bernardine is in the house. Bernard, my good
Hey,
friend.
how are you doing there, John? I'm just
Legacy
glad.
team, Bernardine.
I am so glad my wife ain't here telling on me. Anyway, but Jonathan, one of the questions that was asked, and I thought that since there's so many on here, someone was asking me, how do you know when to take the hydro versus the methylated versus the EMF versus the original? And that have come up so many times. I think it would be nice. It's very short explanation of how do you know which one to take.
Okay. Very good question. Let's put it to you this way. The original formula is what all the research was done on. That's the original formula. The original formula has all 7 patents. The original formula, that was the MMF. It is unbelievable by itself. When Jeff and Helen Ashby came to my house, they the only thing that existed was the green bottle. In fact, we didn't even have the green bottle at that time. We only had the original formula. It was still in those little brown packets. I still have some of those brown packets, and they were putting it in little boxes. So that was what we had originally, was the original formula. And I told Jeff then, when he said to me that the product had that patent for diabetes, I said, listen, don't tell me about anything else. I don't care nothing else about what this product does. I said, tell me about that patent, because it's got the word treatment in it. And the government won't give you anybody that. It doesn't happen, because that's got to be a drug to have the word treatment in it. So tell me about that. He said, who do you know that has diabetes? I said, who doesn't have diabetes? Everybody's got it. He said, give me 4 names. And they overnighted 4 packages to 4 different people. And every one of them had the same results. So if you never even go beyond the original formula, it's a winning product. Okay? Established. Hydro came along because some people don't like to swallow capsules. So they just made it, put it in a bottle, pop it in a bottle, drink it down, if that's your preference. So hydro is a preference thing. Okay? That's all hydro is, preference. Now, methylated came out because there were some people who have a problem with the MTHFR gene. If you happen to be one of those people, you have difficulty assimilating B9 and B12, methylating it in your gut. So a person in their gut can't methylate, change the B9 into a form that your body can use, B9 and B12. That means you could have central nervous system issues. Now, that's the good news. The bad news is, y'all heard me telling you about that glyphosate, that weed killer? Guess what? It blocks methylating pathways in our guts. It disrupts methylation pathways in our gut. That's what weed killer does. So the good news is the original formula is phenomenal. The bad news is glyphosate exists. And there's a good chance that MTHFR genetic issue or not, we could all be having problems methylating B9 and B12. So I generally recommend a person go no less than the B9. I mean, than the methylated form of the purple bottle. That's what I generally recommend. Go no less than that is what I recommend. Unless it's a financial concern. If a person has a financial problem, go with the original and you're going to be great. And if you start noticing you're not getting all the benefits you think, then you come up. The EMF is just because of the radiation. The increased amounts of radiation is simply the best formula. It's got all the methylation benefits, but it also has the 4 different ingredients for radiation. That's it. All right. Okay. And we'll hit a lot of that again at some point and try to break that down a little bit better, but mostly preference. Okay. Naomi Smith.
Thank you. How you doing? I wanted to know, can a person take the microdaily while they're water fasting?
While the water fasting, yes. Dr. Pacola Roberts, PhD Dr. Roberts. She was on a 90-day fast, and she took the microdaily. She stayed on that.
Wow, that's good. And I have one other question because I have a sister-in-law that has sarcoidosis, and I wanted to know if you have any, like someone else that asked testimonies concerning individuals with sarcoidosis, because she's like in her final stage, 4th stage.
Has she tried the microdaily yet?
Not yet.
Then she better hurry up, because there ain't but 4 stages when it comes to most of these diseases. But my sister, not only did she have a stroke, she also was suffering with diverticulitis, and she also was suffering with sarcoidosis. And she swears by microdaily. She will not run out of it ever again. She's fixated on the MTHFR formula. That's the one that she will go with no matter what, and she loves it. So highly, highly, highly recommend going.
What formula is that? I'm gonna write it down.
The purple bottle, the methylated bottle.
Okay. Thank you so much.
And I would recommend don't play around with it. Take it seriously. You don't take the dose that a healthy 20-year-old would take. Go at least 2x plus. That means the normal dose of the purple bottle is 2 capsules twice a day. Okay.
Okay.
So 2x means double that. So that's 4 capsules twice a day. Plus means add 1 more dose.
Okay.
So if she can afford it, I would go that way. 4 capsules 3 times a day. Yes, Bernard. Go ahead, Bernard.
Jonathan, something Dr. Prasad said on that, and something that hit me. He says when you eat candy bars or anything like that, he said it takes away O2 or the oxygen level. He said when you take these products, it increases the oxygen level in the body. And people with sarcoidosis, that is huge for those people.
There you go. There you go. Thank you, Bernard. That's a big deal. Okay. Dee's iPhone has a question. Dee's iPhone, don't forget to unmute.
Yes, good evening.
Good evening.
I was calling, I have genetically been diagnosed with Huntington's disease, and I noticed like at the end one of your books said Huntington's and Parkinson, I believe. And I
Yes.
was just wanted to ask a question as to what in the book will it tell you what's what for Huntington's and Parkinson or what?
What it will
Let me
tell,
see.
what it tells is that these products, micronutrients, have tremendous benefits when it comes to neurological issues.
Okay.
And Huntington's, if I understand it correctly, Huntington's is like the first cousin of Parkinson's.
Somewhat, yes. I always try to get people to, in order to know what Huntington's is, I often tell them it's kind of like Parkinson's, except instead of shaking, our body jerks.
Okay.
Mhm,
So
yeah.
very similar. And I think you're one of the first people personally that I've ever met with Huntington.
Mhm,
But I would highly recommend. See, the reason why someone with those conditions benefit is because of the glutathione. They have
And what?
they've done studies where they intravenously dripped in glutathione in a person with Parkinson's, and
Mhm,
while the IV drip was going into their body, they stopped shaking.
okay.
So raising glutathione levels has a tremendous benefit of stabilizing that whole neurological system. The problem
Now,
with
what's that word again? Excuse me. Glue to what?
glutathione, okay?
Uh,
Now, the problem with an IV drip of glutathione or oral glutathione is oral glutathione is destroyed in the gut. IV drip of glutathione has to be administered by a doctor. And even then, it only has about a 2-hour half-life. It just don't last long.
mhm.
Microdaily has a 12-hour half-life, and it raises lymphocytic glutathione levels. Do you
And it
understand?
raises it.
It raises glutathione levels. Yep. Microdaily increases glutathione in the body naturally.
Mhm. And it won't affect the stomach like the one you say the Shields will.
Correct. Yeah, it's not destroyed in the gut.
Mhm. It's not destroyed in the gut.
Correct.
Okay, this is my first time getting on to hear this, and right now I only take I'm in my 15th year actually, and the doctors are amazed at how well I'm doing. I thank Jehovah for that. But I only take 1,200 milligrams of CoQ10 a day. I take 3 alpha lipoic, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, and I take. Oh, well, he started me past January because he actually retested me. He cannot believe I'm doing as well as I'm doing. But I take the Vasipa, I think, 2 tablets, 4 tablets 2 times a day. And he said that was because the EPA puts the bad inflammation in. I can't remember which one he said was which. So at first I was on another and like I said, I'm working with the brain. It's memory isn't as bad as it could be, but it's of course, we're getting older. It's definitely not what it used to be, but the Huntington's is not helping. But anyway, I take like I say, the Vasipa right now, and that's all I'm taking. My first neurologist did not want me on anything else. And so therefore, with them trying to get me on Aricept or some of the different ones for dementia,
Right.
no, I'm not getting on that right now. Matter of fact, I don't see a need for it if I'm doing as well as I'm doing.
Well, if you're looking at the screen right now, look on the
Mhm.
left side of the screen. See, you're taking 2 of the key components in microdaily right now. That's the reason why you're doing as well as you are.
Okay, let me see that.
See, CoQ10 is about halfway down, and right after that is alpha lipoic acid.
Oh, okay. Right, I see you have a circle. Okay.
And then after that, that's the one that you're missing. Well, that's one of the main ones you're missing is N-acetylcysteine that raises glutathione levels in the body.
Mm-hmm.
So I highly recommend that you get this and then take double the normal dose. So you want to get at least 2 bottles per month, okay?
Mm-hmm. Because as it is, and as I say, my neurologist, he started me off with 1,200 milligrams. And he said normally he would start his patients off with 600. And so he said, but in my case, he said, that's all I want you on because I don't want you on anything else. And I really appreciate that.
Yep.
And
So what you'll do though now,
I'm in my 15th year now, and I'm like I said, they retested me and everything, but I did test positive for the Huntington's, but it's really like what you say, a 40K repeat, which
yeah.
means it's not as severe as like some of my cousins. Unfortunately, I just lost one of my cousins earlier this year, and the other one, she's several years younger than me, and she's not doing good. She's can hardly speak and everything, but I'm still
Wow.
doing as well as I'm doing. So I want to definitely look into this information here.
Well, what you'll want to do then, D, is make sure once you start now, discontinue the CoQ10 and the alpha-lipoic acid that you're taking because you don't want to take it on top of this. Okay.
Right. No.
So because
Yeah.
you'll be getting all of that in this. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So just
Okay.
take
Right.
double the normal dose. Instead of 2 capsules twice a day, take 4
Mhm.
capsules twice a day. If you're on the methylated one, if you're on the EMF, instead of 3 capsules twice a day, take 6 capsules twice a day. Okay.
Okay. All right. So that will
And
be
then
explained for me in the book or on
no, you're
bottle?
hearing it.
No,
You're hearing it right now. This is your
I'm
explanation
hearing
right
it.
now. And
Okay.
who invited you, D?
Miss Barbara Green, Sister Barbara Green.
Oh, okay. Well, Barbara know how to get in touch with me then. So just remember
Okay.
2x, okay, Barbara? 2x. She wants to go double the normal dose when she gets started, okay? Whichever one it
Okay.
is. All right. So thank you very much then, D, for that. Okay, let's get
I want to mention something to D that happened today. I was at the doctor and he said I was doing better. And I told him why I was doing better. So you know what he told me? He told me he want to know more about it and he wants it to help his patients. So D, if you tell your doctor and you show him, what it does, he will probably want some for his patients because my doctor today told me, please give me more information. So I don't have all that knowledge yet. So I'm gonna let Jonathan do it to make sure it gets done right.
Well, that's good. Thank you very much for interjecting that. Just so everybody knows, the way that Barbara's doctor responded is not the way all doctors respond. Okay, her doctor is a rare one. Over the years, I can count on one hand how many of them said, give me more information about it. So don't get disappointed if you go to your doctor and the doctor tell you, oh no, this is interfering with my treatment. Stop taking that stuff. Okay. One of my spiritual mothers buried about 1.5 years ago now because her doctor told her, I'm not gonna say it was because the doctor told her that, but her doctor told her stop taking it. And even after he had taken her blood pressure down to levels she had never been able to go before, but he told her it was not good for her and that she needed to discontinue it. And so she did. She listened to her doctor. I always encourage everybody to listen to your doctor, especially when they're telling you what's right. Okay. If they're telling you what's right, make sure you listen to them. But her blood pressure was down to levels she had never been able to get down before. And he unfortunately told her that it was interfering with his medication. So it didn't work out too well for her. Okay, anyway, be careful. Perlene, you got the last word on this one.
No, I needed to ask you to repeat what you said about the vitamin B12 because the doctor put my husband on that, and I'm not clear as to why she put him on it. I just wanted you to repeat what you said about the B12.
B9 and B12 are important to our central nervous system. And some of us do not methylate it properly. There are people who have a problem with the MTHFR gene. They will not methylate B9 and B12 properly. Now, Dr. Prasad has said that it's generally people who are of European descent, but it can happen to anybody. Okay, so if you got some European blood in you, there's a possibility that you may be in that group of person that could have problem with the MTHFR gene. Now, set the MTHFR gene aside. every person who is eating food that's grown in this country is being exposed to glyphosate. Unless you're completely eating non-GMO foods, completely eating organic food, and even if you're doing 100% clean, there's still some glyphosate getting into your body. Every one of us is eating weed killer. About 7 years or so ago, there was a study that was done. They found, guys can Google it. Just go and Google it for yourself. Google weed killer and grains, okay? And articles will come up showing that 80% of all grains, I'm talking Cheerios, I'm talking Quaker Oats, oatmeal, I'm talking the basic stuff that we eat, they found weed killer in all of it. We're all eating it. There was a study done in Harvard, at Harvard University. A study was done that said that glyphosate disrupts methylation pathways in our gut. So even if you don't have the MTHFR gene issue, your ability to methylate B9 and B12 could still be being blocked by glyphosate, weed killer. So in your husband's case, the doctor put him on it, that's fine, but you might want to make sure he gets on the methylated formula or the EMF formula, okay?
Okay, thank you.
You're quite welcome. I hope that didn't clear that up like mud for you, okay?
No, I pretty much understood it, and what I didn't understand, I'll talk to Barbara.
Okay. And these are recorded, so you can always go back and play this again for future reference. Okay. And someone raised a question in the chat, what brand of African mango is. There's a lot of garbage out there. The one that I use is called 65 for Life, 65 FORLIFE, 65 for Life. And I actually get it from a gentleman who's in the JW family. He's out in California. And that's where I get it from. It's phenomenal. 65, the number 65, F, and then 4, FOR, Life. It's a 65-day program. That's why it's called that. And where do you find it? You find it, let me just tell you where you can find it. You can probably find it at 65forlife.com or amerixbio.com. Just put that in the chat. So those are the ones that I suggest if someone's looking for 65 for African mango. Outstanding stuff. Okay. Appetite suppressant or a weight loss program.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're quite welcome. Okay, everybody. I think that we've exceeded our time. Did anybody make it to that other meeting? Nobody made it to the other meeting? Okay, I'm curious as to hear what you did.
Yes, yes, I did.
Can you guys give us a brief report on what how the meeting went?
Talking about with Dr. And the minister.
Yes.
I stayed on just to hear some of the testimonies. Lord have mercy.
Yeah.
This doctor, I mean, that minister have, if he gets, Lordy, the members that was on there was already on EMF. They was doing their testimony. He said the lady called him and told him about what happened. I forgot the Chavis. I guess it was Chavis that was selling it. She got on and said she called and told him about it, and wow, he tried it. He loved it. He had both bottles on the Zoom video. And Lord him, she had one lady say she was taking blood every month. She said ambulance would come out to her house to revive her, to give her blood so she could keep living until she started EMF. And they was giving Dr. Prasad his recommendation for the medicine, I call them vitamins, that was helping them to stay alive. And his members that was on there, his church going people, everyone praised him. Everyone praised him. Everyone that got on there was on there. If they wasn't on there, they are recommending other people to get on there. This is the #1 life-saving medicine, as they say. I say vitamin. I say life-saving vitamin, but I didn't stay on long because I wanted to come here with y'all was talking about, but it was going on for I got off after 7, so he's probably still on at 8 o'clock. I sent it to all the people that, all my people that I know that go to church, and because they like ministry, so one lady called me. She's going to get on, and I sent it out to about 30. So I'm waiting to hear their response. But it was wonderful. It was
Okay.
wonderful. That man is going to be, Lord, can you imagine if all his members get on that vitamin?
Well, it's gonna cripple the company. It's gonna break the back of the company. That's for sure.
Y'all, and one thing I like, she said she ordered hers February the 1st, and she got hers back in 2 days.
Woo.
I never had mine shipped that quick.
Don't get upset, Barbara. Don't get upset, Barbara.
This Stephanie.
It's coming. It's coming.
This Stephanie.
No. Yeah, but Barbara getting upset, okay? Because she's been waiting for her since December.
Oh my God, Bob, I could have bought you some. Me, I'm gonna tell you what we do if we run out. I have 3 or 4 sisters down here on it. So if we run out, we share. You should have said 7 and bring me 12. I would have brought them to you.
I forgot about you. I told Liz and Benny, and they told me.
Stephanie, get with her. Get with her, Stephanie. Give her that private call.
Please, because I'm miserable.
Give her that private
going
call.
Crazy again. I need my sanity. I'm gonna have to call you, Stephanie. I'm for real.
Okay, call me, baby. Call me. I'll bring you some up there. Call me.
Guess
All
what?
right, everybody.
I'm gonna call you too.
Jonathan, that was a good
I've
program,
been waiting, so you'll be my
Excellent
blessing.
program.
Good night, everybody. Thank you, Bernard. Thank you all for your comments, and thank you guys for all your
Thank you so
support.
much.
Thank you
Let's
all.
do this.
Thank y'all for helping.
Hey, great
Everybody have a good
testimonies,
night.
people. Barbara,
Thank you, Jonathan.
Stephanie, awesome,
Thank you,
awesome.
everybody.
Thank you for the update.
Thank you.
Okay.
And
Good
Jonathan,
night. Thank you.
Perlene and Dee and Naomi are all
Thank
invites of mine. So I'm trying to help them to see what's good for them. So I'm so thankful that they
And
all
listen.
did.
Thursday night, we tell testimonials only. This coming Thursday night, Bernard Dean is hosting. Only testimonials. So bring your stories on Thursday night. Bernard is handling it. And remember, Sunday, Dr. Prasad, CBD. We talking about CBD on Sunday with Dr. Prasad.
Okay, you're gonna send us
thank
that
you.
info, right?
Yep,
Or is
I'm
it on
sending
the
the word out.
calendar? Is it
It'll
on the
go out.
calendar?
Okay.
Yes, it is.
Okay. All right. Thank you
All
all
right.
so much, Mr. Brother Bernard.
Thank you, Barbara, for inviting us.
You're quite
And
welcome.
thank
You're
you
quite
all
welcome.
for coming.
Good night,
Okay.
everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Doris, enjoyed your testimony. You and your
Thank
beautiful
you.
wife.
Okay.
Thank you.
Who did
Hey,
I?
I'll be on there with Alex Holcomb.
We'll be looking forward to it. And that's not a meeting night, so I'll be able to be there. Thank you.
Yep, and
Good night, y'all.
repeat stories are welcome. Have a good night, everybody.
All
Good
right.
night.
I too. Good night.